One,
2,
3, let's go!
I remember the plane ride. I don't remember talking, but I remember my mom. It was like a pretty small plane. Like we were in tight. There were like 8 people, and my mom was like right beside me. So I was laying down. Like I'll show you in the picture, and it was just us cramped inside this tiny plane. When we got there, the doctors and nurses checked up on me, and they told my mom that there's a possibility of me having something called lupus. On January 29th, I had a kidney biopsy that actually confirmed my lupus. This lupus is called systemic lupus erythematosus. So basically, it weakened like almost every part of my body. I was moved to another ward of the hospital. My phlegm actually had blood in it, so they x-rayed my lungs and they saw that there was water. So I was then moved again back to the other unit because the 2 chambers of my heart were very weak. So yeah, they sent me back to the PICU, and I was being watched by a nurse 24/7. I was actually in the room, and there was like a little desk in the corner of my room where my nurse for like that hour would watch me. On February 1st, 2020, my parents came back to the other ward because, like I said, I was off and on from like the ward and the ICU. So they came back at around 10 a.m. in the morning, and the doctors, and they were surprised that I wasn't in the ward anymore. Doctor took them to another room where he told them that my lupus became more aggressive. I had inflammation of brain, inflammation of heart, inflammation of lungs, inflammation of kidneys, inflammation of muscles, and inflammation of joints. My heart was pumping for only 25%, so my vital signs were not normal. My heart rate was low, my respiratory system was low, and my blood pressure was high. I had 8 medications infused in me. They removed my antibodies because they were the reasoning why my lupus became more aggressive. Like my antibodies started attacking like my own cells instead of like the dirty cells that would enter my body. On that same day, my mom called the rest of my family, and they drove up to Saskatoon and came to see me. I had an EEG brain test, which is electroencephalography. Big word, just EEG. So it's a brain test to see if there was anything wrong with my brain. On February 4th, 2020, I woke up from my sleep. I was still intubated and I was confused. My vital signs were stable, and I was able to recognize the people around me. On that same day, they pulled out my tube that I had intubated in me, and they put an oxygen tube around my nose right here. On February 6, 2020, I was intubated again because my lungs filled up with water every time I were to drink. February 9th, 2020, the tube was pulled out again. They put an oxygen mask on me this time because I would keep pulling out like the thing they would put on the nose. I had a feeding tube that I actually pulled out 5 times. On February 11th, 2020, I ate for the first time and drank for the first time. One of the nurses that were watching over me was actually braided my hair. During my time at the hospital there, I met a friend named Sam. Like, she worked with kids, made them smile and talk and stuff. While I was at the hospital, I was getting like not illusions, but like I was seeing things, and I'd be scared to talk to my parents and my like family members because like I was afraid of the color green for some reason. And I think the nurses were trying to kill me. It was weird. But Sam, like, somehow in my head, like, I trusted Sam. I just trusted Sam more than I actually trusted my mom, like my parents and stuff. And like, she just made me smile, and like I was comfortable with her. While I was at the hospital, my school actually did a fundraiser for me, like a talent show fundraiser. I remember my mom was actually on FaceTime with one of the students, and I remember actually watching some of the people like play for the talent show that was there for my fundraiser. And then came Valentine's Day, and my sister Amara came by and gave me flowers and like a little heart balloon. It was cute. I was actually crying on that day because I was looking for my mom. Like, I was left alone at the hospital while my mom, my 2 sisters, and my dad were staying at the Ronald McDonald House. So yeah, I was alone in my hospital room. I was crying. I barely got any sleep. On February 14th, 2020, which is also Valentine's Day, I had my first bath since I was admitted at that hospital. On February 16th, the rest of my family came to visit me once again, and I remember like throughout that week my mom would always tell me, hey, get better, like go to sleep, eat, because in a couple days it's your birthday and all that stuff. On February 17th, one of my mom's friends actually took care of me for the day. Tita Venus, thank you. And February 21st was when I gained back my memories, like my consciousness, I guess. Like, I knew how to speak and answer properly. Like before the 21st, like I would just stare at someone when they were asking me a question. It was hard for me to say something back. My art line was pulled out. My art line was the last thing that actually was connected to my body. Yeah, finally there was the thing one that was attached to me. On February 22nd is when I had my surprise 15th party. My family drove up from Saskatchewan to Saskatoon, and there was this movie theater in the hospital, and that's where we spent like that's where we watched like 2-3 movies. We had food and all that stuff.
Food has to go in already. Let's take it so long.
Huwag malisin yan. Kala mo na. Oh, pagka dito. Nina! Pumunta ka na sa security?
What movie?
Nina!
Hag ate. Oh, let's go.
Andali, di pa na. No, princess gonna lead. Princess. No, no, I told you.
I don't have anything prepared.
Anything, you can, you know.
No, I don't.
Come on.
I don't have anything prepared.
Just pray from your heart.
Yeah, come on. Okay, just wait, just wait. Let's wait, Ate.
Okay? You?
Let's wait, Nina.
You wanna wait?
Baby, come here. Quiet.
Okay, let's go. Let's go, stand up.
Okay.
Nina. Wait, Ate's gonna pray. Let's go, Ate Nevaeh.
I'm not good with praying.
Go, let's go.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Thank you, Lord, for having my family here. Celebrate my 15th birthday. Thank you for the blessing of the blessings you've given me so far. And I'm working towards it. And I hope it goes all the way.
Amen.
That's it.
That's it.
On February 25th, we left Saskatoon and drove back home. I was then readmitted to the general hospital where they watched over me for a couple, weeks or so. And the doctors would give me day passes, so I got to visit my elementary school and then my high school. And then throughout that time was getting chemo. The chemo drugs are very strong. One of the side effects for the chemo drugs was losing a lot of hair and a moon-shaped face. So that's why my shape is now a circle. So yeah, I actually spoke to my doctor about it, and she said that I wasn't, because I thought I was eating. I thought I was eating a lot. That's why my face started to make a round shape. And she said that no, it's because of the chemo medicine. It's one of the side effects of chemo. Along with hair loss, there's also having a moon-shaped face. And she actually told me to eat more because the medications I'm taking are very strong, and I need to have a meal every time I take my meds. So once a month, I go to the hospital, stay overnight, and I would get my chemo drugs there. And then the next day I would be sent home once again. So this is going to continue for 2-3 more months. They will either end my chemo treatment in July or August, but as of right now, my next chemo appointment will be in June. So yeah, that's my life-threatening experience, and that's how I found out I had lupus. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll update more soon for my next chemo appointments, and then yeah, peace.
I'm an icon, man. And my girl about a 10. I should fuck her in a Benz.